Alright, as a birthday present to myself, I will be doing one of my favorite characters. Welcome to comic book characters you may or may not know about. This is Bishop. Bishop was born in the 21st century AD on alternate timeline Earth 1191. In this timeline, the Sentinels have taken over North America, and Charles Xavier and the X-Men have been killed. In this timeline, mutants were either killed or sent to mutant relocation camps. Bishop and his sister Shard were both born in MRC, and they were the kids of the Australian mutants Burnham and Katie. Because they were mutants, they were branded with the M over their right eye. And during this timeline, the Summers Rebellion occurs, which is where mutants and normal humans have joined forces. Now, there were radical humans that called themselves exhumes who tried to start war on normal humans because they did not agree with coexistence. When he was 7, both of his parents were killed during the Summers Rebellion. He was separated from his sister Shard and their grandmother, and he made his way to Manhattan, where he met someone called the Witness, and the Witness raised him for a while and taught him how to become a thief. Eventually, he made it to Las Vegas and was reunited with his grandmother and his sister. His grandmother was also a mutant and spoke on the X-Men in high, and basically told them that she wanted them to achieve Charles Xavier's dream of coexisting with humanity. At one point, while they were still little, they were attacked by Virago, who was being hunted by the XSE. Virago took Shard hostage, and Bishop jumped on her back to make her release his sister. When she was about to turn and murder Bishop, a mutant named Sure-Shot shot her dead. Up until that point, he had regarded the XSE as his enemies and the Exhumes as his heroes, but then he changed his mind. After their grandmother died, she basically left them with her friend named Hancock. While the three of them, Bishop, Shard, and Hancock, were out, they were attacked by two mutants named Half-Track and Billboy. And they were about to kill Shard when Bishop's powers manifested and he saved his sister. But they had also managed to kill Hancock. It was not until the XSE agents, Amazon and Recoil, had interfered. They were really impressed with Bishop and his powers and offered him a position on the team. However, he said he would join if his sister Shard were able to join as well. They both became cadets at the XSE and eventually rose into becoming commanding officers, but Shard was basically Bishop's boss. Among their class was also Bishop's future enemy, Trevor Fitzroy. When Shard finally got her own XSE team, they actually fell to an ambush that was set up by her criminal ex-boyfriend, Trevor Fitzroy, and she was turned into an implate. She ended up being pitted up against her brother, and Bishop was forced to kill his own sister, as opposed to letting her stay an implate and just be a monster. The mutant that had raised him, the Witness, had said that he was able to save Shard's memories from before she was turned into an implate by putting her memories and personality into a holographic projection that he could wear on his wrist at all times. But in order to do that, Bishop had to work for the Witness for a year. So he left the XSE and worked for the Witness. What they did during this time, he never revealed to anybody. When he got back to the XSE, he started hunting down Trevor Fitzroy and came across a message from Jean Grey speaking about a traitor. He was actually very sure that the Witness was the traitor because the Witness said that he was part of the X-Men before the X-Men was killed. And if you haven't guessed by now, the Witness is Gambit. Fitzroy eventually turned completely criminal and escaped his imprisonment and went back in time. Randall and Malcolm, Bishop's two friends, followed Bishop back in time to go after Trevor Fitzroy, and they knew that they weren't going to be able to get back to their own time. They managed to get to the time period, which was the time period of the X-Men, and kill the group called the Lifers that Trevor Fitzroy had created. But Randall and Malcolm were killed, and Bishop was severely injured. Initially, his methods had clashed with the methods of Storm, and he had accused Gambit of being the traitor within the X-Men that ended up getting the X-Men killed. However, despite all of this, he ended up joining the X-Men. During a quest to stop Legion from altering history, Bishop was used as a chronal anchor for Psylocke, who used her psychic knives to link all of them together. However, they were unsuccessful and ended up starting the Age of Apocalypse. During the Age of Apocalypse, Bishop aged and watched the world change. However, he still retained his memories from the real timeline. So with these memories from the real timeline, he convinced Magneto and his X-Men to try to set everything right. So using the Macran crystals, Destiny and Ilyana Rasputin sent Elder Bishop back in time to speak to his younger self to try to get him to stop Legion. It ended up being Elder Bishop who stopped Legion after they were both destroyed by Legion's psionic blasts, and younger Bishop retained some of the memories from Elder Bishop. Knowing that it was Onslaught who is the traitor, and Onslaught was disguised as Charles Xavier, but Onslaught is who caused the death of the X-Men. So with this information, he stopped Onslaught by absorbing an incredible amount of psionic energy. Once Onslaught was defeated and it was revealed that Gambit wasn't the traitor, the two of them became friends, kind of, and learned to work together even though they didn't always agree on each other's methods. While they were in space, he was separated from the rest of the X-Men and ended up with Deathbird, who was actually supposed to bring him to Apocalypse to become one of the 12. A version of Trevor Fitzroy known as the Chronomancer had ripped Bishop through time. This was accomplished by Chronomancer finding Shard and reverting her back to her normal form, and she sacrificed herself for the greater good, and he was filled with chronal energy and sent flying. Later, he joined Storm's Extreme X-Men, and they went on a mission to find the precog mutant Destiny's diaries, and along the way, he revealed that his first name was Lucas. During the M-Day storyline, Bishop was one of the few who was able to keep his mutant powers. However, he was frequently defending the ONEs and always in talks with Val Cooper. When the 198 got tired of their internment, they decided to escape. Bishop formed a team with Sabra and Mimamax to go after them, and he was forced to use his powers to an extreme level in order to free them, and after that, he left the X-Men. During the Civil War storyline, he was pro-superhuman registration, and he was seen on the pro-superhuman registration enforcing teams. Despite all of this, he stayed in contact with the X-Men and even went to a post-M-Day funeral for a friend of theirs that had died and lied about why he didn't tell. During the Messiah Complex storyline is when Bishop gets a little bit out of control for me. So when the first mutant baby is born after M-Day, he freaks out and is basically saying that she is the reason that his future is the way that it is. So his very first response is to set off the nano sentinels inside of the ONEs, which basically leveled the X-Mansion. The X-Men were unaware of Bishop's involvement in what happened with the mansion and automatically blamed Cable for what happened. Bishop's next move was to go to Dallas and attack Forge and wait for Cable to arrive with the mutant baby. And when he did, he attempted to kill her, but his hesitation got him attacked by the Marauders, and they ended up taking the baby. He had joined the mission to recover the baby, and it was found out that he was actually there to kill the baby. He was then attacked by Predator X, who was able to take off his arm, but he cauterized it on an unconscious Sunfire and tried to kill the baby again. When he saw Cable getting ready to take the baby away via time travel, he started freaking out and panicking and firing wildly, and he missed Cable but hit Charles Xavier in the face and apparently killed him. He was able to escape the X-Men and make it to the Dallas headquarters in order to attack Forge and steal time-traveling technology in the form of a cybernetic arm. By using the bionic arm, he was able to track Cable and the mutant baby, and he shot Cable twice before he was attacked by a local gang. Then later he tracked them down again, and he was able to shoot the mutant Messiah. The mutant Messiah, who is, by the way, Hope Summers. He also found out that through his choice, Cable would always be held as the mutant who tried to save humanity from the mutated beast that Cable was saved from by Bishop. He also set up traps to kill Cable throughout the time stream, but ended up killing millions of people. But he didn't think of them as people who existed. He thought of them as people who would never exist if he were able to kill Hope. After multiple failings at killing Hope on his own, he went to Strife, who was an alternate universe Cable. And Strife promised to help him if he would help him defeat Apocalypse. So they went to a point in time where Apocalypse was at his weakest, defeated him. He built an empire out of celestial technology, and they waited for Hope and Cable to appear. And at this time, Bishop was Strife's right-hand man. When they emerged with X-Force, Hope was kidnapped. Bishop betrayed Strife, but Strife then foiled his plan to kill Hope because he wanted to make Hope his heir. And both of their plans were foiled by Apocalypse. At one point, Bishop had traveled to the 21st century again, and then his cybernetic arm was tampered with by Cable, and Cable sent him to 6700 AD. And there he kind of just thought to himself that he was as much a father to Hope as Cable was, and he was wondering if he was doing the right thing. Bishop realized he was wrong for trying to kill Hope, and when he was on the verge of death, he was saved by the Order. They nursed him back to health, gave him a home, and turned him into a hunter. And at one point, he gets possessed by Demon Bear, which is who had attacked Danny Moonstar. He traveled back in time and was still possessed by Demon Bear and was attacked by the LAPD. He defeated them and then was attacked by Psylocke, Puck, and Storm. And then he kidnapped a mutant named Jenny. Psylocke went into his mind and found out that he was possessed by Demon Bear. After Psylocke freed him from Demon Bear's possession, Storm tried to erase his memories of Hope in order to see if she could get her friend back, but it ended up leaving him comatose. It was then revealed that he was sent back in time by the Revenant Queen of Earth, TRN 342, who is Cassandra Nova, who is Charles Xavier's twin sister. She planned on possessing Bishop to use Jenny, the mutant they were doing earlier, as a sacrifice to make sure that her future is the future that comes to pass. However, when he came out of his coma, he told the X-Men what was going on and helped them stop Cassandra Nova's plan. He was later targeted by Hope Summers, who wanted revenge for him trying to kill her, rightfully so. They were both taken captive by Strife, who wanted to exact revenge on Bishop for what happened during the Messiah War. So he tried to manipulate Hope into killing him, but she saw that not only was he chained to a wall, but he was remorseful for everything that he tried to do, including killing her. They were saved by Cable's X-Force and Storm's X-Force, and she decided to spare his life because it would have undone all of the lessons that Cable had taught her over the time that he raised her. She did, however, manage to severely injure him, rightfully so, as she should. They ended up making peace with each other and basically forming an uneasy truce. He then joined Psylocke, Archangel, Phantom X, Mystique, Rogue, Old Man Logan, and Gambit in trying to stop the Shadow King from escaping the astral plane and attacking psychics. During the Avengers Disassembled storyline, he was one of the many mutants who was opposed to X-Men or Nathaniel Gray, reshaping the world in his image. Nathaniel thought that the world would never be what the world could be if the X-Men were still in existence. So he made all of his enemies vanish in an instant. In the Age of X-Men storyline, all of the mutants who had vanished were transported to a reality created by Nate Gray, where everyone was a mutant and relationships were discouraged and illegal. In this reality, he is part of this reality's X-Men, and they had just came back from saving a mutant named Luna, and him and Marvel Girl, who is Jean Grey, sat on a couch together. Later they got intimate. It was found out by Psylocke and her monetary team, and everybody's memories of Bishop were completely erased. Nobody ever knew he existed. He was taken off of the team and replaced with X-23. Since it was his third offense, he was sent to the Danger Room prison complex, where other mutants who had multiple offenses were sent for disturbing the status quo of the New Worlds. However, he was allowed to return to the New World when Nate realized the flaw in his New World. And now he is on Krakoa as one of the great captains of Krakoa. So Bishop's main ability is energy absorption. He can absorb all types of energy, psychic energy, psionic energy, magic, and he can redirect it in any way, shape, or form. So he can turn it into fire, he can turn it into energy blast, he can do whatever with it. He's also been possessed by an entity similar to the Phoenix Force called Le Bête Noire, which gives him cosmic energy as well as planetary parasitism and ontopathogenesis. And he also has energy and poison resistance. And that is the mutant Bishop.